Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Learn Spanish Easily with Sergio Manso. In this video we are going to see a typical conversation at a restaurant among the members of a family and among them and the waiter or waitress. And at the end of the video we will also see how to order a meal. And at the end of the video, we are going to see, as usual, an idiom in Spanish related to this topic. Let's start. En el restaurante, I'm going to read it in Spanish first. En el restaurante. Buenas noches. Reservamos ayer una mesa para 4. Apellido Martínez. Sí, pase por acá, por favor. Gracias. Lindo lugar, ¿no? Sí, además no es caro. Sorry. These three words or these two phrases that I wrote between parentheses are optional in Spanish. Personally, I think that we all should say please and thanks more often. Maybe we show our friendly way, our friendly side in a different way from people from other cultures. Not by saying please or thank you, but for instance by being more expressive than in northern countries, for example. But I personally think that we should all say please, thanks. I do say por favor, gracias, disculpe. It depends on the speaker, and it mainly depends on how the speaker, how he or she has been brought up. So let's see its translation. At the restaurant, good evening. Remember that you say evening and we say noches. There's no evening in Spanish. Buenas noches, good evening. We booked a table for 4 people yesterday. So the sentence order, the word order in the sentence, within the sentence, remember that it's different in Spanish. You say in English, we booked a table for 4 people yesterday, or yesterday we booked a table for 4 people, for 4. We put the yesterday here more commonly. Reservamos ayer una mesa for 4. We don't need to say personas because by saying para 4 it's implied that these 4 are people who are going to eat there. It's not necessary to say personas in Spanish. Apellido, last name, family name, surname, Martínez. If you notice here that the waiter, we say mozo in Argentina or camarero. Camarero is more common in all Spanish-speaking countries. Camarero, mozo. Notice that the waiter didn't say good night. So I repeat, it's very common in Spanish-speaking countries. Not being that polite, by using words like good evening, answering with good evening. He's just asking surname without having said good evening. But we show our friendly side, I repeat, by being more enthusiastic or more expressive than in northern countries, without saying that. But he could have said I didn't write buenas noches because it's more common that the waiter doesn't say buenas noches. Martínez, sí, pase por acá, por favor. Well, this cannot be translated literally. This would be, yes, this way, please, follow me, this way. This is the verb pase in the imperative mood, and it comes from pasar. Come this way, please. Thanks. Optional. And now that the waiter or the waitress has left, the family members start to talk about anything. Lindo lugar, ¿no? What a nice place, isn't it? In Spanish, just by saying no, we don't have to be paying attention to conjugation, because in English the no, the not, is embedded into the conjugation. Hasn't it? No, I mean, hasn't it doesn't go with what a nice place. But I'm giving examples and making examples. You usually say, you don't say no, you say, isn't it? Hasn't it? Haven't you? Would you? Wouldn't you? In Spanish, just by saying no, it's okay. Indeed, it is a nice place. Besides, además, besides, it isn't expensive. I mean, it isn't expensive to eat here. We just say, además no es caro. It isn't expensive at all. Let's see how this dialogue would go on, how it could go on. Y dicen que la comida es rica. Ahora viene el mozo. ¿Ya se decidieron? Sí. De entrada, 2 ensaladas de tomate y lechuga y 2 mayonesas de ave. De plato principal, canelones al fileto para mi esposa, milanesa con 2 huevos fritos para mí y una pizza común para mis hijos. Well, let's see, there are some new words, of course, as usual. It is from the verb decir, to say, and they say, people in general, and they say that food here is good, tasty. We say rica like a rich person, a person who has a lot of money, but you don't say like that in English. We say rica to mean, in this context, good, tasty. Muy rica, delicious, deliciosa. Now the waiter or waitress comes and asks these 4 people, ¿ya se decidieron? Are you ready to order? Literally it would be, have you already made up your minds? Or have you already decided what to order? Yes, we have. Sí. De entrada, for starters, entrada is what you call starter. Sorry, it's the letters were so ugly. Starter means entrada, and we put the preposition de. For starter, 2 salads. What kind of salads? 2 tomato and lettuce salads. So this is one of the starters, and this is the other starter. 2 tomato and lettuce salads lechuga, lettuce, tomato, and salad. And to, well, mayonesa de ave hasn't got a literal translation. We native speakers, even we don't know why it's called like this, because this is mayonnaise and this is a bird, un ave. But it's a dish that consists of boiled potatoes cut in cubes, boiled potatoes in cubes, boiled egg, a lot of mayonnaise. It's very tasty. It's delicious. And I think it's got nothing else. Maybe it can contain tuna. Yes, tuna. Well, that's the typical mayonesa de ave. And what about the main courses? De plato principal, well, we use this preposition, de. But the translation in the English way, into the English way, would be, and what about your main courses? Now the husband says, canelones al filetto para mi esposa. I think you said in the Italian way in English, cannelloni. Al filetto, it's it's a sauce. Its main ingredient is tomato. Al filetto, they are Italian words because all these, this is the name of a pasta dish. Canelones al filetto for my wife. Milanesa with 2 fried eggs for me. Milanesa is an Argentinian word. It hasn't got a translation into any other language. It's very typical from Argentina. And if you've been here, maybe you know a slice. My best piece of advice for you to know what a milanesa is to Google it and see the image or read what it's made out of, because what it's made of, because it doesn't have any translation into any other language at all. And a common pizza with cheese and tomato sauce on it for my children. Y para tomar, un vino para mi esposa y para mí, una Coca-Cola para mi hija y una cerveza para mi hijo. Riquísimo todo. ¿Comieron bien? Muy bien. So, this would be, what would you like to drink? In English, the way of asking this is by far more polite than in Spanish, because we just say the preposition and the infinitive. It's not polite at all. I mean, we understand or we feel if a person is polite or not just by the way in which they are asking the question. That's our way of noticing whether the waiter or waitress is polite or not, or the customer. So, what would you like to drink? And the man says, un vino, we say a wine or a wine bottle to share, for my wife and for me, a Coca-Cola or a Coke for my daughter, and a beer or a can of beer or a tin of beer for my son. Well, now the waiter has left and they are talking. Riquísimo todo. Delicious. Everything is delicious. Or was, if they finished eating. Riquísimo is the superlative of rico when we see adjectives and comparative and superlative forms for them. And now the waiter or waitress comes back and they ask, ¿Comieron bien? In this case, this is a very polite question. I mean, not precisely as for grammar. I mean, in English you use word or polite grammar forms. This literally means, did you eat well? But in Spanish-speaking culture, this is considered very polite. This is very kind of someone to ask us this question. Was everything good, tasty? Are you satisfied with what you've eaten? Muy bien. At all. Well, literally it would be, ¿Comieron, did you eat well? Very well. Are you satisfied? To a great extent. Well, that's very formal. We are very, very satisfied. Well, and finally, these two words, dama and caballero, mean lady. It's a formal way of addressing someone, lady and gentleman. And this is one of the only situations in which you are going to hear these words in Spanish, dama and caballero, nowadays. For example, at a restaurant. La dama y el caballero desean comer algún postre. So this is dessert. Dessert. Desean from the verb to wish. We saw this verb in another video. Literally, it would be, do the lady and the gentleman wish to eat any dessert? But I guess you'd say, would you like to order something for dessert? And the man says, or the woman, we don't know, helado para los cuatro. Literally, ice cream for all four. But in a more polite way, in English you'd say, we'd like to have ice cream as a dessert. I chose the word ice cream because it's a more common dessert here, but we can ask for ensalada de fruta, fruit salad, flan, custard, etc. Sabores, well, this means flavors. Flavors. Dulce de leche y frutilla. Well, many of you may know that dulce de leche is a specific Argentinian dessert. It hasn't got a translation into English. Dulce de leche and strawberry. So frutilla means strawberry. And let's suppose that they've finished having their desserts. So now they want to go back home, but they have to pay first. So this, in English, this would be very rude to ask for the bill. But in Spanish-speaking countries, it's very common. Mozo, to shout like this. Well, we are Latin people. Mozo, la cuenta. And besides shouting, we shout. We shout all the time. Mozo, la cuenta. Por favor is optional. In a more polite way, it would be Mozo, la cuenta, por favor. And the waiter comes to our table and says, son 2.500 pesos. It's 2,500 pesos is our currency. I know it may sound too strange for US listeners or for UK listeners or for Australians, for any English speaker. It'll sound too strange, but remember that we have a very high level of inflation, especially in Argentina, so 2.500 is a common price for a dish for 4 people nowadays. In the US, I guess it would be something like $50 for 4 people. I guess so. But we are in Latin America and inflation is high here. And the waiter asks finally, in the present tense in Spanish, pagan, do you pay? It would be literally, do you pay, but you don't say like that. You say, are you going to pay with credit card or cash? ¿Pagan con tarjeta de crédito o en efectivo? Tarjeta. Credit card. With our credit card. Well, so this is all as for a typical situation at a restaurant. But let's review some important vocabulary, some important words. So let's see. Entrada, starter, plato principal, literally it means main dish, main course. And postre, dessert. Oh, sorry. Then la cuenta, the bill in British English, or the check in American English. La cuenta, ¿cuánto es? How much is it? How much is it? If we want to use the same verb. Or ¿cuánto cuesta? How much does it cost? Efectivo, cash, and credit card, tarjeta de crédito. Card, tarjeta, of de crédito, credit card. And finally, an idiom related to this topic. Panza llena, corazón contento. What do you think this means? Once once one has eaten enough, one feels happy. This is the idea, the metaphor, but literally it is. With a full belly, our heart is happy. But it's just panza llena, corazón contento. We are all happy when we have eaten, mainly when we are satisfied with what we have eaten and when we have enjoyed what we have eaten. So see you in the next video, and remember, if you liked this one, please give it a like, subscribe to my channel, Learn Spanish Easily with Sergio Manso, and share it, comment, ask, do whatever. See you in the next video. Bye bye.